Okay, welcome back to another episode of First Use, and in today's video I'm going to go through Collingwood and how they dismantled the Brisbane Lions last night, and not only dismantled them but beat them at the Gabba on the home ground. They're flying, Brisbane. They were 5-0 before last night's game. So I'm going to go through three key areas for Collingwood. So when they didn't have the ball, their stoppages, especially in the centre bounce, and just their movement. And then when they had the ball, the ability to use it and create scoreboard pressure, ability to hit the short 45 and also the overlap running. So let's get in some clips and I'll go you through how they're able to win so effectively last night. What Collingwood did is they set up the vision. So it was almost like a line. So there's a player there, there's a player there. Look at that line. There's a player there. There's a player there. So you've got the mark. Now, most players will either look left or look right. So in this situation, you still want to have representation. But what Collingwood was able to successfully do is every time the Brisbane Lions player had the kick, was on the mark, had the kick, they look right. There was a line of Collingwood players. They look left. There's a line of Collingwood players. And they set it up so quickly. So from attack, turnover or mark to defend, they just lined up so well. So then Zorko gets the ball, kicks it out. The only option, and once again, he's played on, but look at the line of players of Collingwood. So then the only option is to bomb it down the line, and that's what they did, and it played in Collingwood's hands. Kick it down line, and it was a contest. Either Quainer, Moore, or Howe jumping for the mark, and just brought it to the ground, and then they swooped on it. Darcy Cameron was also pivotal, and this was the mode. So they bring it to ground, they'll clean below their knees. I could see that 10 minutes into the game, you could see how clean they were below their knees, and that's a really good indicator of how a side's going to go. So any games that you watch over the weekend or in the future, look out for the team that's clean below their knees, especially early in the game, because it's a really strong indicator on how that team's going to perform. Then they just had run from behind, so the support. 1 hand pass, 2 hand passes, 3 hand passes, in short, kick inside forward 50. So then they try to speed up the play, so they try to play on Brisbane, but it just once again played into Collingwood's hands. They then pushed up, and then they were able to crack the turnovers. And a lot of their turnovers were through the centre. So loop the hand pass over, crunch, nailed. So Harris Andrews gets it. There's a switch of play. Line of vision. Line of vision. Line of vision. So there was no outlets. This is a great, well set up here as well. So just balance. So the ability to switch, if you saw, when you watch it behind the goals, the ability to switch, it was like they were all in sync, the Collingwood defenders or Collingwood players. They just kept on moving. They were pointing. There was a lot of pointing going on to get into position, especially the guys that were behind. So Lipinski, Quainer, guys that were the deepest or furthest away from the ball, they were the ones pointing. They were the ones instructing for Hoskin and Elliott. They were the ones, so they were the eyes for these players that were a lot closer to the play. So Harris Andrews then switched the play. Look at the line. 1, 2, but look at Macquarie on Zorko. So a lot of the players are zoning in line with the vision. So basically on a 45 from where the guy was on the mark. So they were lined up to make sure that they were in the line of the vision. But when Zorko was running, it was either Degoe or whoever's the nearest player would pick up Zorko. So when Brisbane did play on and gained a little bit of space, they then played on really quickly. But because then Collingwood was set up behind the ball so effectively, they were able to turn it over basically on the wing, in the middle of the ground. So what's his effort? So Quainer was in that contested effort, brought it to ground, then went to ground, They win the ball. Look at that second and third effort from Quainer. Handball receive. Looks up and amazing kick to Elliott. So they kicked a lot over the defender's head into space. A lot of that comes too with your forwards. So your forwards have got to create space, but also identify. So that in this situation, you've got to identify that he's a loose. You don't want to come. This Collingwood player doesn't want to come too close because then it drags. I guess that's Harris Andrews. Drags him closer to then actually spoil. So you've got to actually run into a dangerous space and be dangerous yourself, but also identify that, hey, he's loose, but it's a great kick over the top from Quainer. And great second and third effort. So Harris Andrews rins it on the half back line. Now looks to square it in. But look at this. Passing lane. Line of sight. And set up square. So instead of having numbers behind the man that's on the mark, they had numbers lined up on the 45. It makes it very difficult. It's almost like you feel like you're kicking over passing lanes, but it's a difficult. When you look up, you're looking left and right. All you're seeing is these numbers. It's really hard. It just forces you to go down the line. Harris Andrews chips it to Levi Ashcroft. Same thing. He's trying to look into the corridor. Look at Delgoe. He's pointing. But once again, passing lanes. In line with the kicker. So it's quite interesting to watch. When the kicker was turning his head, they shifted. So they're on their toes, Collingwood, all night. It was a 4-quarter effort. It wasn't just in patches. It was a 4-quarter effort. So they've done a lot of work on, I reckon, McRae's blown the whistle, turnover, blown the whistle, attack, blown the whistle, defend, blow the whistle, attack. You got to go back and forth, back and forth. That's how quickly it goes, and how the ability to switch. Even in this situation here, Elliott pivots this way because that's where Levi's looking. Then he pivots this way because Levi's looking that way. So it's just being on your toes, being nimble, but watching the eyes of the kicker. So he's stuck here. So line of vision, line of vision, line of vision. They switch the play to try and create space on the other side. Right, so this is where they find the free. But amazing chase from Bobby Hill. So Zorko takes off, and so does Bobby Hill. Run down chase. Set up though. Look at that line of players. He kicks a goal. The other thing too is they were super clean. Once they got it back, they were that's my check. Big tall forward. One touch. Clean off the ground. Look at the hard running already. Just took off. Go through. Go. Centre bounces were awesome last night. They allowed space. So the blocker, the sweeper, and the receiver. I've said this before. When Dacos starts on this line, he's either going to be the receiver, so he'll go this way. In this situation, he gets it backward of centre. But sometimes he'll then go as a decoy to float as the sweeper. So, and because he's so dangerous, he takes that man with him. Shoots his body. Great body work. Gives the hands off. And then inside forward 50 to McStay. I thought McStay, I thought Hoskin Elliott, I thought Lipinski, all the forwards play really well, especially bigs though. Myercheck, at sometimes Cox, but more Myercheck and McStay got down the line and didn't allow Brisbane defenders to mark. And that's where they get their slingshot footy from. When they intercept their marks and take off, that's when Brisbane's really strong. Full credit to McStay, especially early, and then Myercheck in the second half for the competitive stuff, because they just either would mark it or bring it to ground. So this is the centre bounce after the one where Nick Dacos kicked it at fat side to McStay. This just shows you how they all work for one another. And I love how they do this. So, still side bottom as the blocker, giving himself a bit of space. But just watch what Pendlebury does in this situation. But I love the coverage. Nick Dacos knows that this is a bit of a set play, and he comes back to sweep. There you go. So he's come off his man. You obviously don't want to leave him free. So they've got coverage. So if Pendlebury's not got momentum going that way, there's your outlet. There's your handball receive. Great tap here from Cox. And I thought bringing him in was great as a second tier ruck against Sam Day. So it was a great strategy from Collingwood. But a wonderful tap, and then he comes through, and it was a setting clearance. And then the last one, tight manned up. Nick Dacos as the blocker, comes straight through. So they always had one on the move, and the other two were pretty much manned up, pretty strong. So let's get into when they had it. So this is a point kick in. Love this set play. So you'll come to screen Maynard on this side of the ground. You'd like to have a left footer, and it's a great set play. So kick it in short, swing it, and then onto a left footer. So they get it in short, and then they swing it straight across, left footer. Look at all this space. Just kicks it in the favoured side. So the brilliance about that is that because he's a left footer, he can then play on the outside and go really quickly. So when you want to do a switch, you want to be able to switch really quickly because it shifts the whole defence and creates a space on the other side. Then the Lipinski gets back off. They create separation there. Great lead. So ability to switch to play, but also to maintain possession by lowering their eyes, but work rate in the forward line. So this summed up Collingwood last night. So loose ball to be won. How clean they were below the knees, but also to have support and to have players in their vision. One touch, McCreary gets it. Look. Two in their vision. Dacos gets it in his vision. Comes off on the 45, but closes that gap like a handball game. Handballs it over. Pendlebury then comes inboard, swings on his left foot. Ball comes in, drop of the ball, Myercheck, goal. So this second last clip, I love this play. So still side bottom sets it up really, really well. Assesses where the space is and kicks to that space. So puts his teammate into the space that he can see behind him. So it just gives it enough elevation for Harris Andrews in no man's land here. Worst nightmare for a backman. And kicks it to the favoured side of McStay. And then great running here from Nick Dacos just to come on that angle. Not come inside. He can sense that there's two Brisbane players there, but the free space is along the boundary line. Stay takes the mark over it, and then there's that space again. And then just kicks it, sums up really quickly, and puts his teammate into the space. So he could have dinky lead here, but he could see that the Brisbane Lions players in front of him. He just puts it into space and ends up being Hoskin Elliott goal from the pocket. Right, now I'm going to finish off on this. I think this is the play of the year. Unfortunately, McStay didn't finish it off, but this for me was the play of the year so far. They nearly score a goal from the Brisbane Lions goal line, Collingwood do. And it's just outstanding teamwork, ability to work for one another, and the spread and the little tap from Elliott in the middle. So the ball comes inside, Brisbane's 450. Great error of work there from Darcy Cameron just to get back. He got really back deep, clunked some really good marks inside the deep 50. Then Chris gets a hold of it, and away they go. And I'm going to go fast on his because it's just an outstanding play. Little chip kick, hand pass receive, hand pass slightly high, but Ali can see that De Goey's coming behind him, draws that defender, hand pass over. McCreary goes, takes the space in front of him, very important, just take the space. Look at all that space in front of him, just take it. And then assesses where he's at, and then great kick into space for McStay. Mark, just wish you had. So that was the play. So there you go, Collingwood, outstanding last night. So the defence, when they didn't have the ball, stoppages, especially in the centre bounce, how they had a lot of movement, and the blocker coming into play, and handball receive working for each other. And when they had the ball, the ability to lower their eyes, kick off the line and hit their targets. It was a wonderful game from them last night.